I've been thinking a lot about change lately. And I don't think just because we recently changed our atmosphere. We drove from the Pisgah National Forest near Asheville to the Cherokee National Forest a couple weeks ago. And we're here in Tennessee now. And, you know, deeper than that change, we have spring in full swing here. And it just got me thinking, you know, I was talking with my sister the other day, and we were talking about people changing, and I was wondering if you guys think people can change. I'll let you know what I think. Based on my own experience, I believe people can change, and I know that's really more generic when you get right down to the dialing in things. You know, I'm not talking about like every single aspect of their lives, but I don't know. I think maybe anything's possible. You know, I spent 30 years mostly inside, even though I love being outside. Outside was like a vacation time, you know, going outside and getting off the computer was like basically like living for the weekend. I was living to go outside and, you know, living this lifestyle. Eventually I became, you know, initially I was still outside a lot more than I ever had been, but eventually, you know, it got to where I'm not behind the computer screen anymore, and I'm able to be outside a lot, and I'm able to enjoy nature and the sounds, and I think that's what kind of has drawn me to kind of begin to explore plein air, painting and sketching and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm really loving that, and I'm really loving the changes in my own life, not just recently with the move and getting out of a bad environment, but also with the creativity and just being more present and being around, you know, good nature, good energy, good people. Yeah, I think we can change. I just, I don't think it's a fast process. It can be a fast process, but I think, you know, if you really want something to be different in your life, you know, of course, there's always exceptions, but generally speaking, I was very unhappy with the 9-to-5 life. I was very unhappy with living to pay the bills and working to pay the bills. And, I guess the better terminology is working to pay the bills. So I'm very happy with, hi, thank you for visiting us. It's good timing. I'm very happy with, you know, spending more time with my animals and being away from the computer screen, and like the whole clocking in thing is just not part of my life anymore. And, you know, we're not fully retired. I would call us like maybe pre-retired, because we definitely still have to create an income. But the stress levels and just the whole entire outlook of life has changed for us. And, you know, we made that happen, and it hasn't been easy, but it's been fun. And so, yeah, I'm going to get outside today and do a little bit more exploration with plein air, painting and sketching. Whew, this is a little bit overwhelming. Since we moved locations, I haven't really had the time or energy to reorganize my little mobile studio here. But I wanted to come in here and get some of my supplies so that I can maybe make a little simple setup for my plein air. Yeah, so what I was coming in here for is a board that I was going to use, but I don't see it now. I did pack this box up, which was my studio stuff. Well, that was a total bust, so I'm closing up the art tent and I'm gonna go get my simpler method that I have in mind to make it a little easier to do the outdoor sketching. So, lock that back up. And we'll go get that stuff. One day that'll be a fully functioning mobile art studio right there. Well, when I started this video, I had a thing in my head about doing a very basic plein air setup because I am a beginner at it. If you didn't see that last video, you can tell that I'm a beginner doing it. I just want to start simple. So I had this idea to get one of my sketchbooks, which I think I'm going to get it's the multimedia paper, this one I think. So this one is multimedia, which means I can paint on it. And then, so I'm gonna take this multimedia sketchbook. I'm gonna take my water brush set that has water already in it. And I'm gonna take my Derwent Inktense blocks. I really like these, and they also have a little palette, which I haven't used. So you can actually scratch off some of the thing and put the flakes in here. I'm gonna get a real razor and do that. So all I really need now is like a board to, you know, use as my surface. And I had these cutting boards that were old and we weren't using them as cutting boards anymore, but sadly, I think we threw them away, so I'm trying to figure out a different board. Okay, I think I got it. This is one of my cat's favorite places to lay, but I don't think he'll miss it for a little while. This is like what we consider our garage area. And this was a shower mat that we had for our van that we never used as a shower. We just used it as a pedestal for the doggy bed when we had Kona, our little dog. So yeah, I think that'll work good. Go right there. I'm gonna put these things in this pocket. Because I'm on this property, I'm just gonna carry this chair around. And I think that'll be pretty easy. So I thought today I would just do like a nature exercise and maybe do a little study of different plants and leaves around the property here. Unfortunately for me, they weed eated yesterday, and so some of the really beautiful wildflowers are not here anymore. But I do have some really cool ivy and a really cool lily that is a wild. And other things that I just want to do like an exercise and just kind of get, you know, into the groove of figuring out my plein air setup. Okay, I found this the other day and I really love the shape of the leaves and the texture. This is a plantain lily and I really want to paint that. Well, I had hoped to do more studies besides the plantain lily only, but it took me a little longer, and I don't mind that at all. I just got lost in the moments there. So yeah, every time I come out and do outdoor painting, I just fall in love with it even more. So very beginner, very new at this whole thing, but it's really fun, and I'm looking forward to exploring it even more. So now we're gonna go have a little adventure.
Scooch the coach.
Yep, here we go.
Scooch.
Thanks so much for joining me today for our plein air exercise and for our little outdoor adventure there. This is really beautiful country here in Tennessee, and we are really loving the whole atmosphere here. So I'm looking forward to exploring more and painting more and getting out there more. So if you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe. It really helps the channel out. It costs nothing to do. And little thumbs up on the video would really help too. And I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time.